Hey yo, what is up? Kampfpanzer 07 experimental is back in the news. And why is this so at this point in time? It looks like some changes have been made to the tank, and there is some speculation that this could be the Summer Clan Wars event reward tank. Now, there are two possibilities. It could be this tank or it could be the MBT. But the timing of this release, the leak news, and some sightings on the live server with some super testers already playing it, it is a very high possibility that this could be it in its final iteration and ready for release in the summer, which is, maybe in a month or two. Clan Wars event. This could be the reward tank. What's changed? Hit points, 2200 changed to 2300 hit points. Engine power 960 from 850. Power to weight ratio 14.91, now it's 16.84, which also means that the traverse speed is slightly improved, only a little, 35.46 degrees per second. It seems like they've increased the horsepower, and of course this will affect the power to weight ratio and mobility, so a little bit of improvement there. But the hull armor was also improved from 140 millimeters frontally. It is now 160 millimeters. Remember, this is also sloped armor. On top of that, there is also a huge shovel in the front, which is going to work as spaced armor. So we are looking at considerable amount of protection on the hull, which means this tank will be quite useful on the ridges, on terrain, using its 8 degrees of gun depression. If it has good turret protection, if it has good turret armor, which is only 190, if it's going to carry, if it's going to work, then you're going to be very good hull downing in some terrain and hills and stuff like that. So this is what's going to be changing in the Kampfpanzer 07. The other changes that have been made is also the alpha damage has been nerfed from 460 to 410. This is for the APCR and the heat shells, the premium heat shells, and the HE shells nerfed from 640 alpha to 525 alpha. Penetration remains the same, 260 penetration on the standard APCR shells doing 410 damage, 320 penetration on the heat shells doing 410 damage. But the biggest improvement here is going to be the reload time. From this was supposed to be a 12-13 second reload gun doing 460 alpha. Now it is a 9.11 second reload 410 alpha. You are looking at the Chieftain wheelhouse in terms of reload times, and the alpha is going to be a little bit more than the Chieftain, I assume, with that 410 alpha. And the accuracy on this gun, 0.32 dispersion with a moving dispersion of 0.15 and an aim time of 1.92. What does all this mean? It means this is going to be a very competitive tank. It's going to be a very competitive gun. I don't really know if the turret is going to be very competitive like a Chieftain. It does have sloped armor. It does have a huge, thick mantlet. I assume it's going to offer a lot of protection. But how will it hold up against other heavy tanks? Frontally, I don't know for sure yet. But judging from the stats that we do have now, this is pretty good, because 410 alpha damage with 9 second gun, which means you can possibly get the reload times down to 7.5 seconds, you know, with food consumables, with crew skills, dispersion 0.32, moving dispersion 0.15 means you probably do not need to run a vertical stabilizer just like a chieftain. Most people that play chieftains do not run vertical stabilizers. Instead, they run the hardening, they run a turbo, and they run a rammer. You could, on paper, you could theoretically do that with the Kampfpanzer 07, but with experimental equipment, you could even run the turbo / vertical stabilizer equipment for this tank, and maybe even the new hardening experimental equipment that could truly make this tank over the top and make it like even better than most tanks. Now, admittedly, we don't want this tank to be as good as a Chieftain or as good as a 279E, because those two tanks have single-handedly broken the competitive meta. The Chieftain and the 279E has completely ruined clan wars for everyone, and I don't think Wargaming has any idea how to fix it other than to boost up all the other tanks that are in the game, which I think they will have to do eventually if they're going to balance out the Chieftains and the 279Es being so dominant in the game. But the Kampfpanzer 07, it looks like it's going to be a pretty good tank, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an overpowering tank, which is a good thing. But again, I'd also like to see this tank being able to compete with a Chieftain or a 279E. I want to see other tanks playing in clan wars other than a Chieftain and a 279E and a 907. Occasionally there's the Polish medium tank, the CS63. You don't ever see T57s anymore. You don't ever see AMX 50Bs anymore. You don't ever see Foch 155s anymore. So a lot of tanks are missing out in the clan war or in the competitive space because of Chieftains and 279Es. I hope the Kampfpanzer will be one of those tanks that will challenge the Chieftain and challenge the 279E. I'm looking forward to it personally because I think this is going to be an interesting tank. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.